What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Drawing Daw Podcast. We got Al and Josh back with us, our regulars. We also have somebody different with us. We have Nick Pudrycki, right? Something like that.
Yeah,
Alrighty. And so we decided to have him on. This is our big regional post regional podcast. We decided to have him on because he got his first top this weekend. He is playing Scareclaw, so congratulations. Yeah, everybody.
No.
And so today we have a lot to go over. We have our regionals to go with, and we'll start off with you. I'm saying so you're playing Scareclaw, and so how did you end up doing? What was your overall record by the end of it?
3-1, 4 wins, 1 loss, 1 tie. I lost to Earth Machine, which is ironic because I'm an Earth Machine player.
Yeah.
And the one that I really wanted to win real bad, and the one I ended up losing. And then I tied Sun Avalon Rika.
Oh.
I could have won in time, but I didn't get to my battle phase fast enough. I could have. I needed a unicorn away his monster, and then I could just attack with the unicorn. But didn't quite have enough time.
No, but
Quick note.
You're able to do it. Yep.
Yep.
I was gonna say, quick note. First regional where he didn't play Earth Machine.
Yeah,
And he gets the top,
that's true. That's true as well.
and then he loses to Earth Machine.
Yeah, he lost it.
Yeah, and Earth Machine actually got second too. So
He's like, man, I mean, like, you're happy you're topping, but you're also like low-key full of regrets.
that's right. Exactly right.
Oh my gosh. So what about what made you decide to take Scareclaw? Like, what was up with the choice there?
I've been looking for a new deck to play, and Kyle, my buddy, he said you should play Scareclaw because when I used to play sports, I always said defense wins championships, and he's like, that's a defensive archetype because the boss monster flips everything to defense mode, and apparently defense does work with it. It's a pretty strong deck.
Shit.
Yeah, and so what were your matchups like throughout the day?
I started off with Sprite, and that was actually the only meta I faced. Then I moved on to Sword Soul. Then the Earth Machine. Then I got my loss. Then the plant deck, Sun Avalon Rika, and then 2 Eldritches is how I ended it.
Oh wow, 2 Eldritch to end it. Sheesh.
Yeah.
That deck was actually really prevalent. That was my first round matchup. So I don't know. That deck was it was annoying. What about Al? You got any questions for Nick?
Well, I always wanted to ask like how you began your Yu-Gi-Oh journey, like what started all of it. Was it the anime?
Kind of. My brothers started. They watched the anime, and then they eventually decided to pick up cards. I was young at the time, probably 4 or something. But like they gave me some scraps of their cards, their collections, like real bad. I actually never beat my brother Josh till probably 10 years after I started playing. Didn't take a single set ever. But now I can bring it to him pretty good.
Yeah.
I just got into competitive in late 2017 or early 2018, somewhere around there. Somewhere around TOS format.
Yeah.
Which happens to be my favorite format, but who knows?
So that's actually really funny. So like when you guys first started coming, I actually I remember when you and your brother first started coming, and like usually you see 2 new guys, right? And you're like, oh man, it's gonna be pretty slight, like and it never was. Like it never ever was. Like I always felt like you guys had a really good understanding to the game. Like you guys picked up a lot on your own, which was like really great. And so like every time I play against you guys, it's never like a free win or anything like that. I always know I'm gonna be like playing my hardest to try to steal that win still, since you guys started playing. And like that's doesn't happen often for me. Like usually when the newer players come, they can't beat me ever, so it's definitely something to say there. Anything you remember when they first started coming, either of you two?
What are you, Josh? Do you remember?
I remember Nick was just on Prank Kids all the time, but like
Yeah.
way before Miyamu. And his brother was always on on Burning
BA.
Abyss. I
Yeah.
just remember them playing both those decks. Actually, Nick was the one that stopped. I had right before COVID in like late 2019. I think I won something like 7 or 8 locals in a row, and Nick's the one that stopped me with Ghost Mourner in time. he,
Ah.
he took the streak away.
No, it wasn't Ghost Mourner. It was Dogwood. And
Oh,
I
yeah,
remember
sorry,
you were a bit
Dogwood,
salty
yeah.
because you were playing Altergeist, and you know, like there's not a lot of things I can chain to
Yeah.
that you're gonna actually get the summon out.
That's actually
And I got
crazy.
pretty fortunate to ghost
I
Ghost the
activated
Cerwood.
one for one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's actually
I
crazy.
remember that.
That is actually crazy.
Yeah.
I felt dirty about it because that was way before like Ghost Sister's popular now, but
Oh yeah,
back
nobody
then
was playing it.
nobody
Everyone
did
said
it.
it was trash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I knew you could grease with it pretty good.
Yeah. So
Crazy.
no, that's awesome. Yeah. So before we also like move on to like anything else, I do want to. So obviously you did well with your Scareclaw deck. You know, getting yourself a top 8. Obviously next off, I want to move on to Josh's regional performance because Josh he did pretty good. Hey, Josh.
Not bad. I took third. I had only one loss all day, and unfortunately, that was probably due because I got a game loss from not writing Droll and Lockbird in my side deck, and so I was played. Got that game loss, had to cut it from my side deck, and played with a 12-card side deck the rest of the day.
Yeah, he didn't
It's
just
not even
write
that
the
you-
wrong card. He just
It's not even you didn't like play it. It's like you didn't write it down.
Yeah,
You
like I
got game
legitimately
loss
just wrote down 12 cards in my side deck, and then when it said total of cards in side deck, I put 15.
Put it 15.
Didn't even count it. I was
Oh
just
my
like so
God.
confident. And then actually the rest of the people I played against, I didn't even drop a game outside of that one. I 2-0'd
Nice.
everyone else all day. It went
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you're playing the Bestial Sprite, right?
Yeah, just hand trap sprite, yeah. With 7 bestials.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
bestials or however the fuck you
That's
want to say it.
that's what the kids these days are calling bestial sprite because you play the bestials as hand traps, I guess. So yeah,
Yeah.
so he was doing that. So he had a good performance, and so like what were your matchups like throughout the day?
I'm surprised that I only played one tier element player. But yeah, a lot of like random decks I didn't expect to face. I started off against Flunderies. That luckily the Drolls were still in my side deck for that one, because they came in clutch in game 2. But no, one flu, one tier. That's it for the like meta
Yeah.
as like the YCS says. Like those are that and Sprite are the decks that topped, right? I think it was Despia, 2 Dragon Link, and Earth Machine, surprisingly, and a different Earth Machine than what Nick played.
Oh, wow.
Different guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a couple Earth Machine players for sure. Yeah, no, I know I mean, it was Winnipeg, and like it is like it's super rogue city. Like I felt like there was probably
can't-
more non-meta than.
You can't go there thinking you're gonna play meta. It's almost never gonna happen. Like it's less
I
likely.
feel like we always have more meta here in like at a Regina regionals than like a Winnipeg regional. I think that's just generally our community's quite competitive, I guess, like when for our good players. So, but like yeah, I don't know, it's crazy. So that was Josh's, and then meet Al. Al did a bit better than me, so I'll let him go next.
Yeah, well, I got 13, close but not close, and I feel like I almost got the flu because I played so much flu. Like every other game, I went against flu, and I'm like, oh my god, can this day not be over with? And then like it was like half flu and then half like rogue. It was like flu, and then it was heroes, flu, and then invoke Mech Knight, and then another flu again, and then pendulum in the last one.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and so
Invoked Mech Knight. That's wild.
yeah, that's an
he was.
interesting choice. For
I know.
Yeah. And then for myself, I played round 1. I played against Lich. main deck T barrier is an interesting choice, but it can definitely be devastating with the Solemn Judgment there. So yeah, no, I played Lich round 1. Round 2, I played tier branded tier, and I beat that quite convincingly. I took him to game 3. Well, like I scooped game 2 because we had 3 minutes left until time was being called, and I wanted to go first and just burn or gain life points. I mean, so that was that. And then the next round I played against was Pendulum, which I beat in time again. And yeah, basically there was a lot of time involved with this deck. I mean, I was playing Runic Sprite, and I like not playing it in like a big event like that before. I guess like I definitely wasn't quite prepared for the time rules, because then I played against Natria. I lost against that. I got burned for 800 by Cowboy. I also had drawn my red resonator, unfortunately, alongside my lava golem. I had to make the choice, and I mean, I couldn't play through a Baguska Fenrir, so I gave him the lava golem, and I just couldn't summon the red resonator, unfortunately. I thought of every way possible I could try to get it to the graveyard to summon off Elf, but he had one of the Ishizu cards to shuffle back anyway, so it didn't matter. And so I lost a Cowboy there, and then I lost to Water Stun. The Gozen Match is a hell of a fucking card, especially when they have a card that says you can only control one non-water monster. So that was fun. That was cool. And I dropped after that. Man, I dropped after that. Like, what do? I lost to Lich, D Barrier, and time. One that maybe that game could have been more in control, but he never scooped to my Goliath until I finally threatened game. So yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't do that great, but yeah, our regional was a really good time. We all had a lot of fun. Any other comments you guys have to say?
That regional, I think the best tech card that I had was Fenrir's. Like, so thanks Josh for letting me that, because like
No problem.
that like both games against like the last 2 rounds was like flu. That like got over like most of the cards. Same thing with the Pendulum guy. Like that got over like Necro Valley, Bestoler.
Yeah,
That was like such a good card.
Yeah. What about you, Nick? Like, did any card like underperform or overperform for you?
A lot of my side deck was geared for if I was forced to go first, but I figured none of the players would really do that because I was facing like a lot of Eldritch and stuff.
Yeah.
So like a lot of my traps outside out, I probably would put in Dogwoods or something because my losses were like time related.
Yeah.
But Silent Graveyard was good. It was meant for a tier, but I didn't end up facing it. But it was good against the things I did face. It seemed pretty good.
Oh yeah, shutting off Graveyard definitely seems pretty fucking good right now, even if it's not against tier.
And you can do it reactively, which is really nice. Like I can chain it to them. It's not like Dweller.
Yeah, you don't have to preemptively do it as long as it'll negate everything in that chain from the graveyard, which is really good. Yeah. For me,
I was gonna ask you, how many opponents knew what your deck did? Like
the Earth Machine guy. The Earth Machine guy. He didn't know exactly, but he knew more than anyone else. No one. The Link 1 is a soft once per turn, and people would negate and destroy it like all day long, and I just summon it again, search my field spell, and I got so much value off of that. It helped so much.
Also, for anybody that doesn't know, that deck is a going second, like OTK deck. That's why he had decided to go first. But I'm pretty sure most people have no idea what that does outside of like the small amount of like tier element that was playing that engine. But
even like that's an engine, and they don't realize that it's going second like kills them, because they use it for like making a bear or like the field spell pops a card for them, the tier element version, but they don't actually use the Scarecrow cards to kill.
Yeah. Okay. No, yeah, I like you and your brother. There's like guys I don't want to play because I don't know your fucking decks. It's like when do I like half the fucking battles learning? Like, yeah.
Well, that's the advantage of playing Rogue though. Like
Yeah.
you get to face people who don't know what your cards do, and it gives you a big advantage. Like meta's strong, but like a strong rogue deck is very scary,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Absolutely
this
true.
one is scary literally because it's scary.
Gary Claw.
Got him.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, cards that perform really well for me, Fenrir. I mean, that card's just I don't know, it's insane. I can't really comment on that. That Fenrir is nuts. Another card that really overperformed for me was Wind Up Kitten. Wind Up Kitten was so insane. It was probably my MVP card for every match that I won because I would draw it in the best situations. Like I would just always have it in my hand, and I'd just be normal summon, and I already bait and negate, like or get rid of whatever I'm needing to, like Ruach Kalos, like you Ruach Kalos Kitten. Like Kitten Ruach Kalos is just so nice. So that was like probably one of the best cards for me. Also, Morphage Goliath was really good. I didn't really cite it in for Naturia, but then all of a sudden once I realized it was Earth, I'm like, oh wow, that's pretty good. So yeah, anything that overperformed for you, Josh?
I mean, my deck was basically Sprite Gamma Burst OTK. The reason why I 2-0'd everyone is I just killed everyone on my like first or most of them in my first battle phase with that card. It's just funny. It gives you that push that Sprite doesn't normally have without it.
Yeah.
But as far as like text for everyone, Bestials, even though I played like only one tier Shizu, still put in a lot of work against other decks. Like even just I banished like my own sprites sometimes to summon them for a body on their turn, and then add a card or like send a card. Like those cards are insane, even if they're not banishing or stopping like a fusion from tier.
Yeah.
And triple tack, I only activated a handful of times, but each time I did, it changed the game. It was insane.
Okay. Oh yeah. So the next thing, besides regionals, I want to talk about the YCS Pasadena, and what's everybody's thoughts? Like, do you guys think we are like in a tier 0 format, or do you think the deck just overperformed this event, or what do you guys think?
I mean, statistically, like I think it was like over 80% was tier Shizu and Top Cut. Also, you got to look at like so that in itself, I would consider like tier 0 in a sense. Also, if you look at like all the deck profiles, everyone's on just different ratios for everything. Different amounts of Bestials, different amounts of the Shizu cards. Some people are playing like full packages of everything. Some people are playing one, like not even like all the cards were in, like to play like one Calback and none of the I think it's like a Yugioh. Once again, I'm bad at names. The other one that mills 5. So like for it to do that well and not be like solved at all. I mean, first format or first tournament with the decks, right? With
Yeah.
the cards, and they only just were released. Like, it's only going to get better from. So.
Or worse, how you look on it. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think that there's a lot to be solved, but then the also just like I think like the meta really could just evolve like a less a Shizu tier and more like 60 card pile decks, because like I think the potential with the pile decks is just insane. But we do like we got rid of stuff like Chaos Ruler and stuff, which like helps in for those types of things. But I still think that like like even I was looking at decks like the guy was playing a Shizu tier Thunder Dragon like thing. It's just like I'm like, what does it even do? In my head, I can't even think about what that shit does. So like, I don't know how I'm supposed to react to it like in a fucking match.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really know. Al, what's your thoughts on the format?
Like when we after the regional stuff, we were watching like back at the hotel. Like we were watching, and then they're like milling a lot of cards, and you made me laugh because you just shouted, "Oh look, deck profile in the middle of the game," and I'm like, "Oh my god, that's so true." And like that's been like the meme the whole weekend. It's like deck profile while playing. God damn it!
Yeah.
But it's really crazy. Like even I playing the deck, it's like, okay, I mill like 5, and then like I activate like 3, 4 things. He can only stop one.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
What about
very good.
what are your thoughts, Nick?
Well, I don't think there's any denying that the Ishizu cards are just like format altering. You like it's hard to play any graveyard deck with them and the bestials coming out.
Okay.
So like now it's like you either play tier or you play something that like runs Necro Valley or can main D shift or can shut it down in some way
Yeah.
in like an unfair way.
That's true. And like we do see. I mean, like the other three decks that topped the YCS were, is it 3 Flunder and 3 Sprite?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So like you look right there. I mean, the Flunder right there. Like, how does a deck like Flunder, like a deck that has such a low ceiling but such a high reward when you draw that shifter and stuff like that, and
Or
that
even
like that
Featherstorm.
3 times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, like that deck is the ceiling's low, but it's still squeaking by tops. Like, that's a thing. And then runics are not, I mean, just pure sprite. The deck, I mean, the sprite cards are nuts. So like it doesn't surprise me that 3 decks could keep up, but like it's really hard in a format that's super overwhelming, especially with like like you said, the Shizu cards just controlling the graveyard just seem like, I don't know. It makes me almost not like, these Shizu cards almost are like make me want to not play right now. I'm not even gonna lie, because like your options of decks are so like limited because of how hard those can just hurt you. And like your any cards that can benefit from them will use them. So it's just kind of crazy right now. So we we went over the few things there. Is anybody else have any good topics? Al?
Let's see. I thought of what I can't remember. Uh, like how, like just showing like the how powerful Ishizu tier is. How far do you think the balance will go for this deck? Just
That's
because I'm like scared now that I'm like playing this deck and it's gonna get like hit real hard. You know?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, what's the last tier 0 format we've had?
Spiral.
Spiral?
Technically, wasn't it? I didn't play during COVID, but wasn't like Adamantipator just like stupid
I didn't
when
play.
It
Block
was.
Dragon was Block
It
Dragon
wasn't
was still
like
a thing?
tier.
It
It
was
wasn't
tier 0,
tier 0.
but it
Well,
was pretty strong.
It was pretty somewhat not tier 0.
okay.
No,
If not that, then it was Spiral.
it was
Spiral.
definitely Spiral.
Yeah, and that got a pretty good hit. And even like if you look at, like, we can go back to like Goki even, when that deck was pretty overwhelming too. Like I feel like that the ban list is going to definitely hit hard, but I don't know how they're gonna hit, because like I don't know if they like what they really want to do. Are we going to go into like a Cash Tira format, or are we going to see like a format where they don't hit Sprite as hard and Sprite kind of becomes overwhelming? Because like that's the thing, if they just like absolutely shit on tier, then like what's gonna happen, right? Like
Yeah.
um
I think they hit Sprite because they're gonna know that, like, yeah, if they dump on tier, which I don't think they're gonna kill, they're gonna do some light hits, maybe mess with the consistency a bit, but tier's gonna be very real for a long time to come, in my opinion. But they also hit some of Sprite because, like, not only is Sprite itself good, and especially if tier is worse, Sprite becomes better, but just it as an engine, like, some of these tier shoes decks are playing Sprite packages. They're all playing Sprint. Right? Like, they're gonna I think they're gonna hit one of the extra deck cards, either like limit elf or ban Sprint. But like Sprint just came out, so I think
Yeah.
elf
It'll
hit
be like
is probably what's gonna happen.
do you think they just hit it to 1?
Yeah, I don't think they ban it because like then actual Sprite is straight garbage. But
Right.
then again, hitting it to 1 doesn't really affect the tier decks because if they do play it, they're only playing dinner.
One, yeah, no, that's the thing. So like, I don't know. It's definitely weird. I think like Elf is definitely a problem card. Like, don't get me wrong, Monster Reborn, every turn is pretty insane when you can build a deck around it. Especially and just what it can do. And now like the tier players are using it a lot of the time to make Baron. Because you know, and so like it just seems like it's a card that could get banned, definitely. Like, I mean, that's I think it's bannable, but do they ban it? I mean, if they banned it right now and they didn't hit tier hard enough, then like then we're just gonna continue to be in a format where Sprite isn't gonna really have his time to shine at all. And yeah, I'm not really sure, but like I don't know, like what OCG definitely hit some of the Shizu cards, right?
They did not. Oh, I think they, yeah, they did, but most of the
They
stuff.
limited a couple the Shizu cards and they limited a couple tier cards as well. And I think the 7 limited one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
They did a bunch of like hits, but nothing got banned, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, and do you think any of the Shizu cards should be banned?
If
Definitely
any,
the Kelbeck.
Havinus. No,
Oh,
oh,
he's
sorry, Ishizu. Ishizu cards, Kelbeck's probably
the
up
best one.
there. But like really those Grave Shufflers too. It's
Yeah,
like even if you hit one of them, so they only get one on a turn. What's the one that like summons itself? Maybe that one.
Both of them summon itself. It's Keldo. That's the pretty good one because it searches any of the
Yeah,
other one.
yeah, yeah.
So
So
it'll
if
be
anything,
Keldo
I
and Kelbeck.
personally think that one would be the best hit. But
Yeah, it'll be like Kelbeck and uh, Keldo will be the best hits for Ishizu. So
yeah, yeah, for sure. I have the Shizu cards, and then I don't know. Yeah, like when we hit the tier cards, what are they gonna? Yeah, like what do you Havness? You're saying?
Havinus
uh
is definitely the best card in that deck.
yes,
It's
but it's
just
like
an and play having an engine hand trap is insane because you're not having to. It's a consistency piece as well as a go second or board. Like it makes playing on your turn 0, so scary that if they have Havinus in hand, you could just lose
Yeah,
because they can get all their chains before on your normal summon activate effect. Right? Like it's crazy.
yeah. No, that is very true. Havness is a pretty insane card. Um, that's definitely like the super annoying thing. If you have this like and they're kikalosoing you right away, right? Like and they're searching, so like they're already up in advantage versus you. That is like insane. Actually, you're not wrong. I think that'd be a good hit to like to tier. But like, do you think it's bannable? Like, are they gonna ban anything, or are they just we're gonna see one of like you know?
Yes, they're getting more cards too, right? Like they're getting another field spell and another main deck monster. So and I can't remember what those ones do, but I know they're not bad. Like so you can just hit Havinus and still have a tier 11 deck.
Right.
It's just gonna be
they kind of are bad though. I've been looking at it. I'm like, yeah, you don't play this. Like, because like the tier limit one is basically a Castura card. It would be better for you to play Castura instead of playing tier. Like, and then like the fields. I don't know what there's a field spell or a quick to use spell. It's like it's okay. It's not gonna do anything good, like good, but it's just okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I don't know. I think they can definitely I mean like I think it's a bannable card. I mean like but like effectively putting it at 1 makes it like not as good but like sacky.
yeah,
yeah, but like look at how much people hate Called by the Grave at 1. Like it's when you get when you're trying to hand trap somebody and you get called by, you just feel so much worse than you would if I was at 3. If I'm playing and somebody Hovinesses me when it's at 1, and then they mill a Shizu shit, I'm fuming. Like that's I'm not having a good time.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that you're not wrong, but like I don't know, right? Like, yeah, it definitely would hurt consistency a good amount though. That's the thing. Like just putting it at 1 and like what like Konami, I don't know. Like going from not touching a deck like directly to banning a card right out, that just doesn't seem like a Konami thing.
No.
What they could also do is hit was it Merle's the level 2, I think, right?
Yeah.
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 They could hit
That-
that. They could ban that so that like they can't use the sprite cards
True.
as effectively, and then they could hit sprite in different ways.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I think that's what they did in the OCG is put Merly to 1. Like it's still good at 1,
Well,
but
at 1 you still just send it with sprint.
yeah, it's still kind of sucky.
What were you saying, Nick?
You can still use it in tier, is what I said.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what if they went like merely 1 and have this 1? Does the deck's consistency get hit enough?
It does, because if you think about
Does.
like if
Does.
if they go to activate Merly or Havanus in Grave and you Crow or Bestial it, they
Mhm.
don't have that card. Like that's one of their fusions gone.
Right.
For
Yeah.
effectively the rest of the game. There's ways to get it back, but right.
Right.
But
And it kind of forces the deck to play like I feel like the Shizu cards still really good, don't get me wrong, but aren't as effective because you only have 1 copy to mill of Havness and 1 copy to mill of Merely. But a lot of the decks I've seen are not even playing 3 copies of each. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But like I definitely think that that's an interesting route. I think that's something we could see. I could see happening, but it depends on how bad. Like I don't know how bad they're gonna hit here.
well, we'll have to see, because there's another YCS coming up, and then it's a while before it's like a month before the remote duel one.
The
Yeah.
remote duel's on the 10th of
10th.
December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So effectively a month from today. So we'll see how that other YCS shapes up. If it's another 80% tier top, right? They're
I hope it
definitely going to
is.
do something about it, right?
I hope it is.
Yeah.
I really hope it is. Because
Yeah.
like I want that deck just to be fucking shit into the fucking ground. Sorry, Al.
I mean, the best deck. What can I say? I can't do anything. Like I bought like the deck, not thinking it was Yugioh. I like when the deck came out of Power of the Elements, I thought like Spyro was the better deck. Like playing it, but and then like next set comes out and Magic Meters comes out. It's like okay, never mind. I got the best cards. Never mind. Like fuck.
Yeah,
I was
no.
going to ask you, Nick, how do you feel Scareclaw's going to do into Ishizu tier? Because it doesn't sound like you played any.
Well, before the Ishizu stuff came out, I felt like it was a pretty decent matchup for Scareclaw because I kill your things by battle. You're not getting the floating
effects.
effects quite as
Yeah.
good. But the Ishizu stuff, like my big guy, his good effect is like he revives a card from grave and then does a search, but they can just interrupt that if they have Ishizu stuff in grave. And also, like I have a monster born in the deck that's not a hard once per turn. They can also interrupt that. And like my Link 1 is a dark monster, so the bestial stuff also hits it, but depending on the build. But like the Ishizu stuff, it hits the deck, but Scareclaw doesn't necessarily need the graveyard. They can do quite a bit of stuff without it.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. So like
And,
moving- oh, go ahead.
well, and like I was running adventure, but and the Ishizu stuff doesn't really do too much to the adventure engine.
No.
As long like they can hit the Draco back if you discard it for cost, or Enchantress if it's engrave. But overall, the adventure engine is actually pretty good against the tier stuff, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
especially if you're running illegal night.
Yeah. So like going forward, like you going to continue to run your like Scareclaw?
I've been like even since the regionals, I've been testing some other stuff, but nothing seems quite as strong as the Scareclaw deck
Okay.
yet.
Okay, fair enough. Like, and so like, is there any like maybe like is there any big innovations coming to the deck like at all like like with new sets coming out or anything, or is it
Yeah, I'm not sure which set it's coming out in, but there's a Kashtira Scareclaw monster. It's called Kashtira Scareclaw, and you can search it with Fenrir, and it'll probably bring the deck to a little bit of a new level.
okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
nice.
So you can like go full combo if you see a Fenrir as well, not just if you see one of the level 3s that basically have no effect. So that's pretty good because
And you
Fenrir
can
is.
still play it with your adventure stuff because you just summoned it before, right? So
Yep.
that's pretty
Yeah.
nice.
That's
That's
yeah, no,
actually cool.
that's
I
awesome.
didn't even think of that. Yeah,
Other than that, though, I'm
that
not
card
sure.
comes out. Yeah, that card comes out in the new set, Hypernova. So that's gonna be crazy.
When does that come out?
I think it's February. I think it's like Valentine's Day, like February 14th,
Oh, it's
something like
a
that.
little while yet then.
Yeah,
We got a bit of a wait. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, moving forward, for myself deck wise, I'm probably gonna get off Runic for a bit. The sheer amount of times I went into time and like what's like the biggest complaint you'll hear on my channel is probably the time rules. So it doesn't really make sense for me to stay on it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, any changes with you, Al, going forward?
Well, not for now, not till the ban list. Like I've changed like just the ratios of my stuff, so
Mm-hmm.
but I'm still gonna be playing like Shizu tier.
Okay.
So
Josh?
Um, yeah, I'm always changing the deck, right? Like my deck changes by the day. Cards in, cards out. Like up until day before the regionals, day of the regionals, my deck was changing. So
Yeah.
it's they're always looking for new ways to do stuff. Also, like the meta's changing, right? You just got to evolve with it. You can't stay at the same thing. You're gonna fall behind. And it's not gonna work.
Yeah. No, for sure. Like, is there you have any like one
In
any other
particular,
decks like anything in particular, or yeah, like or like any techs or decks that you're thinking of trying?
No decks in particular. I think I'm gonna stick with Sprite for now. Because realistically, like I just don't want to play tier. For the sense of I don't want to pick it up.
Yeah.
I don't have any of the cards. Also, I think Sprite can do well enough, as we saw. Like at least 3 of them did top 32,
Yeah.
and one of them did make it to was it top 8?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stick with Sprite. See if I can find some things like I'm looking at maybe like siding Dimensional Fissure. Because as much as like Angler's nice for me, if I die-fi them, I'll probably still win without Angler, right? Like it's
Right. Yeah.
you got to look at ways to play without your graveyard, and also to have your first turn without them playing on your first turn.
Right.
Is what I'm looking for right now.
Yeah, and so actually you had me on Di-Fi for the
Yeah.
regional. The card came up once. I sided it in versus the Water Sun guy because he was like the first game he was putting lots of shit in the graveyard, and it hurt me. But we won't get more into it. It hurt me more than anything. But it probably wasn't the time to put it in. I was panicking because I was playing a deck I was not prepared for. I don't really know what its like goal was, but its goal was to sit on Ghost and Match and that one guy. So
Hayushin or whatever with
Yeah.
Umi up on the field. Yeah.
yeah, but it was nice because I did draw. I drew it off the Runic stuff, and like in that aspect, like it was a really good card to put in. It just it was more of a player error than anything there, you know. Yeah, that card's nuts. Now I want to talk about if this tier like format is tier zero, a lot of like I don't know if you guys have heard this, but like a lot of pro players actually like apparently really enjoy this format. It's kind of weird, but apparently like a lot of the big players like tier zero formats because you know what you have to be prepared for, um, and you know like there's less like stuff, but like I don't know, I feel like this like how could you enjoy like we're watching and you're just watching you watched the mirror match and it was just like whoever gets to dweller.
Yeah, Dweller makes the mirror kind of buns. I think the part they like is you get very rewarded in not just like technical play in a mirror format, because just generally if your technical play is better and everyone's on the same deck, you'll do better. But also finding that like spice, that like deck building aspect is just like where you find those advantages, and
Yeah.
every little advantage is what pushes you forward, other than, oh, I prepared for these 3 decks, but I played against everything else, right? As
Okay.
a pro player, you're liking these tier zero formats, because as long as it's a tier zero format where um that skill gap can be shown, it could just be a tier zero format because this deck just wins if it goes first. That's not going to really change for them.
Okay.
But in this, you can tech and play better than your opponent, and generally it will show.
Yeah, that's true. I definitely agree. Like techs become a lot more a lot better in tier zero formats because like and you have that one little secret spice card that can just bring you that much higher of an advantage. Definitely. It's kind of almost like it's almost kind of like the rogue thing, is because you can put in your one tech and if nobody knows what it does, they don't know how to play around it, you know. So that yeah, like that's definitely a thing. And like you were saying, like technical play, knowing how chain links are gonna resolve, and the people who are really good, never forgetting to resolve anything in their chain, because like that can happen, especially in like we're going to like a lot of games have like chain link 7 now, you know what I mean? Like, and like you got to remember 7 effects in that chain, not at just by your head. Like it's pretty kind of like crazy. So I definitely think like do get rewarded on stuff like that. um but I definitely don't like I don't think that tier 0 is good for the game at the same time. Like
It's yeah, it's not like a good like general like in the game itself. It's not a good like thing, but just like when pro players play, it's like more technical where it's like, okay, can I outplay your play, kind of deal.
yeah.
So it's for them, it's more like exhilarating to know that okay, I outplayed you, outplayed this, and like again, like try to remember like Chain Link 9 stuff. Like we were watching it, they're like if you watch like Hottie versus Pack, it was like there's like 15 cards out of the field. You don't know what's on the field. You don't know what's on the grave. You don't know what is going on. Even the casters was like, we don't know what's going on anymore. And it's like, it's like very technical. You have to remember everything around it. So it's like, I think that's what they like. Like I get that like idea of like knowing the technical play. But again, I also get what you're coming from. Where it's like it's not
Yeah.
really good for the game if you want to get like other players to like being bringing into the deck. It's like if like a new player come in, you just see like all this like what the hell is going on? There's like 10, 15 cards on the field for each player.
Yeah.
What's on the field? What's on the grave? It's like it's crazy.
Well,
So
and the price of tier 0 formats are never a good thing, right? Like when the field spell's very expensive, there's some very expensive cards. Look at Magma, like right, $20 super Canadian. Like, come on, like how is that okay
No, that
for
was
the game?
American. That was 20
Oh,
American.
that's 20 American.
yeah, that's
Man,
worse.
that's even
That's worse.
yeah, like I like oh, I don't know about that, you know. But the tier deck's not like insane expensive, but the Shizu cards also added more to that. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like I definitely think there's some unhealthy balances. I think that the best time is like a triangle format, and that's when relatively your staples are expensive, but the decks like your deck choice isn't going to be like held back by the price of the deck. That's how I kind of feel, because there's 3 decks that can do just as good.
Yeah, how do you feel about it, Nick, as our resident rogue player? How do you feel about a format where it's tier
I've
0?
never been in a tier 0 format before, but like if you are playing rogue in a tier 0 format, that like you can expect to face the decks, and if you're good at rogue, you learn how to counter meta real well. So like it's not like it's impossible for a rogue to do well in a tier 0 format. It's just a lot harder.
Okay.
But like if as far as price goes, you're looking pretty good compared to that tier 0 deck.
Yeah, you got your
That's true,
staples,
that's
and your deck's like what,
Yeah.
$20 for the core?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Like my most expensive card's like $10. Like not that bad.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, you guys pay whatever you want. I'll just prepare for a few extra cards for you, and I'll keep my $10 deck.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, like, that about wraps what I have up. Unfortunately, I didn't have a whole lot prepared for this one, because we were gone from regionals, and then I'm right back to work. Um, is there any like other topics you guys would want to discuss before we head off?
Oh, just for anyone out there that hasn't topped an event before, like Nick said, he's been playing for a long time, competitively only for a few years now. But how good does it feel to get your first top? Like, did that make the rest of your day? Like, is it worth really trying and grinding to go for it?
Like to be honest, my final set there, I was pretty nervous. I knew it. I pretty much had it pegged because I have a real good Eldritch matchup with the deck.
Yeah.
But like I went to my first regional this year actually. Like I've been playing competitive, but like this is the first year we've been going to regionals. And it took me 4 to get a top, but it feels good. I'd say it's worth it. My mat is like a trophy
Yeah.
for me,
There
basically.
you go.
Yeah.
I'd say it's worth it, especially like you can feel yourself getting better at the game too. Like after you first start, like when I first started competitive a few years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever it was, I can feel I'm a lot better now. My opinions like change on certain cards and stuff. My creativity is like a lot better than it was back then.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that's like really cool. What were you gonna say, Josh?
Oh, I was just saying that's nice. Also, as far as like the trophy thing goes, I still have the first mat I won. It's uh oh, it's god awful ugly. Like it's idly or something like that.
Was that
I hate it.
Oh, was that your first map too?
Yeah, that was my first one.
No, I sold mine. That was so ugly. I couldn't. I couldn't. I was like, I'm fine with the deck box, so that's fine with me. I don't want this map.
I'd been
That
playing
was
for
so
like a year
ugly.
at that point. I was like, yo, I'm gonna keep this, but
This is my
there's
first
definitely
mat.
been a lot of mats since I've sold.
This is the
Agreed.
first one I won. This
Pretty
one
cool.
right here. I hated it.
See,
I hated it so much.
I mean, at least that's better than Ibli. That like getting like I don't know. It wasn't not even that
What?
good of a card.
Italy? I love that.
Yeah.
I like. Oh wait, no, wait. I think I like
You're
that.
talking about Ibli.
Oh, Italy. Okay.
Or
Yeah,
No.
Idly's like the
No.
shitty hand trap that never was.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No.
I sold mine.
I keep most of mine. I do keep. I kind of get rid of the ones I really don't like. The Gravekeeper one, I definitely kept. I mean, like, and I'm so happy I kept it because, like, having a mat that, like, I could be like, oh, this is my first mat I won, and it's like 2014. That's pretty
Yeah.
dope. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas now I immediately took it to the vendors. I was like, how much you giving me for this?
Yeah. No.
And then he took it. I was like, how much for the deck box? All right, I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus
And
Christ. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
definitely would get like I do like to keep some mouse. I'm thinking about selling the Exo Sisters one because it's like $250, and I'm like,
Jeez.
it's a lot of money, and I need
Yeah.
cards, so you know. But
I keep the nice ones. Like I have the Flu Under Ease one. I don't think I'll ever get one of that one. It looks so nice.
that is a nice
Uh,
map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deck
know.
is horrible to play against, and I also did play it for a period of time. Horrible to play. Uh, doesn't feel like I have any control, but I love the mat, so I'm gonna keep it.
Yeah, I keep my iconic cards ones too. Like I have like my Boral sword and my Yugioh one. I probably just won't ever get rid of those. Like they're just too cool of monsters to, be like.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Mine like my mat trophy is the one from Cam. My Nordic mat is not gonna go anywhere. That is gonna be kept safe and sound.
From
That
the
is what
homie, yeah.
Well, that's from the homie, and that's the one that I used like to win, to
I
get
don't-
first place in the first regional. So it's like
I don't know though if I don't know, Nick, if your new mat's replaceable like of the old one, man. Your old mat's pretty legendary.
I'm looking at it right now.
show it. You have to show it. You have to
gotta
show
show
it. You gotta show it.
I didn't take that mat to a regional, and that's the one I win as well.
Yeah, he always ran.
You gotta
he always
show
ran a
it, bro.
brick
You gotta
mat.
show
Yeah,
it.
do you
Yeah.
have the brick?
For everyone that doesn't know, it's,
Yeah, I can grab it.
it's a floor mat.
It's like an entry mat. for
Technically,
your-
it's a floor mat. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so cool, though. It's just funny. Yeah, here you go.
Let's see where it is.
Where's
The-
it? That's it.
It's
A brick. A
Like,
brick.
and you feel it, and it's like made of that like felt that floor mats are made out of. You can like totally tell it's a floor mat.
Yeah, it's grippy.
And
I remember.
I found it so funny.
It is. It is. We all found it so
It's
funny.
so
too.
good.
So
So
it was
good.
a good one. Okay, well, if that's it, then I'll thank you so much, Nick, for coming on, and congratulations on
Thanks.
getting your first top.
Thanks.
Anything
Alrighty.
else? Anything else, you guys?
No, I think
No.
I'm good.
Alrighty, well, let's do some twinkle. I don't know what this is called.
I don't know. I don't know.
Jazz
Oh,
hands.
Jazz
yeah,
hands. There
jazz
we go, jazz
hands.
hands. Goodbye, jazz hands, guys. I'm not ending it
See ya.
until you guys do it. No. Bye.